Okay, so in the last episode we were looking at polygons, and we talked about how the number of angles in a polygon is equivalent to finding the number of triangles that exist in the figure. And the way we found that is taking the number of sides minus 2 times 180. And in this case, this figure, this heptagon, has 900 degrees. And I asked you guys to try to find out what x is, or that missing angle. So we added up all these angles together. And when I added up each of these parts together, I got 806 plus one angle that I don't know. And we found that one angle to be 94 degrees. Now, if I look at these other ones, that was the same idea. This was a hexagon. And this hexagon had 720 degrees. So I did the same thing. I added up all these angles together to find out what x is. And I got x to be 17 degrees. In number 8, I was asking you guys to find what angle B was. Well, first you had to figure out what x was so that you could find out what angle B is. And because this is quadrilateral, it has 380 degrees. And if I add up all these angles together, I would get 37x plus 27 equals 360, which would mean that I would get x to be 9. And because we're trying to find angle B, what I did was I just plugged 9 in place of x to find that angle B was 79 degrees. Now, there are special types of polygons, one of which is called a regular polygon. So like an example of a regular polygon would be like a square is a regular polygon. Okay? Another example would be like an equilateral triangle. And they all share the same property. Same properties of the idea that each of these figures, or like a regular polygon, they all have the same side lengths, and all of their interior angles are the same measure. So all the sides are exactly the same, and all the angles are the same. So when I look at 9 and 10, it's just asking us to figure out, in a regular hexagon, what would all the angle measures be in a regular hexagon? Like I know in a square it's 90, all those angles are 90, and I know in an equilateral triangle, all those are 60. How can I do that same thing with a hexagon? So first thing we got to do is figure out, all right, how many degrees are there in a hexagon? Well, first off, how many sides are there in a hexagon? And we know that that's 6. So if I find the number of degrees in a hexagon, I'm taking 6 minus 2 times 180, or if I'm just taking 4 times 180, and that is 720. Okay? And I'm just dividing this by the number of sides. So I know based off the number of sides, that will tell me how many degrees each one is. So if I take 720 divided by 6, that's going to be 120 degrees. So just if you guys want to know like a formula to help you guys out with this, it's n minus 2 times 180 divided by the number of sides. Okay? So like if I look at this one right here, and I'm for 19 degrees, or 19-sided figure, if I do 19 minus 2 times 180, and if I divide it by 19, so I'm taking 17 times 180 over 19. So I get 3060 over 19. And I would approximately get this to be 161 degrees. Okay? So we're going to use that kind of here, in which we're trying to figure out what would x be in this situation. So first thing we got to do is figure out how many sides this has. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it is a dodecagon, or it's a decagon, sorry. So we're going to take the 10 sides, subtract 2. We're going to multiply it by 180 to figure out how many degrees there are. And then we're just going to divide that by 10 to figure out what each of those angles would be. So I got 8 times 180 over 10. And you would get that to be 144 degrees. So all of these angles, and if you look at them, they kind of look like that. all of these angles are 144 degrees. So to figure out what x is, we're just going to take 144 and set it equal to 10x plus 4. And when I solve for x, you get 10x equal to 140. And you guys get x to be 14. Okay? All right, so that's working with regular polygons. The next video is just going to help us to deal with exterior angles in any shape.